Hey everyone, welcome to Second Sight Tarot. I'm here to do the new moon reading, February 1st, 2022. Instead of doing a spread that I would look online to kind of get ideas from, I figured I would use the spread deck once again and kind of pull intuitively to create a spread for the new moon. So this new moon, I believe is in Aquarius. And like most new moons, or all new moons, is about a manifestation, bringing new things into manifestation. So it was interesting that the overall theme of this spread was ideas and how we can bring these ideas to life. You know, what we need to do, what's blocking us. So I did cheat and I changed out one because they were redundant. The two cards that they kind of meant the same thing. So I picked one randomly that I thought made sense, but the rest are all just from popping out of the deck. Anyway, so the theme of this new moon read is ideas. How we can bring those ideas, whether it's work, personal stuff, how you want to decorate your house, like, you know, something that you really want to work on, any of these things that have been kind of pondering in the mind a little bit, how we can bring them into fruition and how we can plant the seeds for them to grow. The full moon is coming, I think February 16th, I believe. So we have that time to really plan and work through the blockages, work through the actions that are needed. So meanwhile, I kind of just said what's next. So we have the ideas of what we want to manifest, and that looks different for everyone. We have the blockage, or what's blocking us from creating this idea or bringing it into action. Actions needed to get things moving and get them out of the mind and actually into real life and manifest them. And then advice from spirit, or, you know, just universal energy that can kind of guide us for extra support. So I already laid out some of the cards, but of course I'm going to be pulling all of my oracles and forget, this is a brand new deck, and I'm going to try to remember what it is. Little clarifiers, which I love. This is I can't even read this. I can't even read what this is. It's magic, something of magic oracle. I'm sorry, I can't read it. It's like super light and I just can't read it. I'm getting older. Antique of I'm sorry. I'll put it in the description box below. But anyway, I fell in love with these things. I love them. I'll probably do like a mini walkthrough of them. So I will pull some of these and let's get going. So I also pulled a wild card and the moon card in the spread deck. It's got a moon or a sun. So to me, that's kind of supporting what the blockages are, which is about anxiety, fear. Even here of like what's blocking it. They're all swords, which is interesting because it's all in the mind, but it's all caused by fear and anxiety. So what this came out, which was the moon in reverse, which I think is appropriate. So it's what is holding us back, even though this is not really what this was meant to be. I guess there's fear in the air, there's anxiety, you know, or maybe not understanding how to bring something about. Like there's a misunderstanding on how to kind of put the puzzle pieces together in a sense. Or even not even understanding where you're at and what you want to create. You know, there's just like some ideas floating around, but you don't really know how to kind of, you know, pull them down. So, but for some people, this is having clarity after a long time of having those types of feelings. So I felt like this was like half and half as far as the collective, because it's a collective reading. Some of us have found clarity and have an understanding of what how these ideas need to come about, or what it takes to get these things moving, the ball rolling. But I think some of us are still stuck in that fear of not knowing, or the fear of failing. So overall energy of this is fear and anxiety, really. And what I initially got just from this card was like, you know, some things needing to be seen still. Intuitively, that's what I felt like. Things aren't fully understood because they're not seen yet, whether it's from the individual or just as a collective energies, because of, you know, there's that type of energy going around in the universe right now. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting that both moon cards came out on that. So ideas, that's the main goal here. So keep that in mind when we're talking about this. What the blockages are here. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse, which I'll put it up right so you can see. 5 of Swords. So I feel like there's, maybe for some of us, there's a loss. Okay, I don't know why I'm picking this up, but like I feel like for some of us, maybe we're having to change our idea because something is just not working. Maybe we missed an opportunity, and I'll figure out like how to bring this about the other way, but right now this is what's coming. It's like we've missed an opportunity, or we've missed the chance, or like we just don't have the means to do this for this idea, so we're kind of putting it aside for right now. And not, I want to say like, yeah, this is like about cutting losses and stuff, but it's also maybe saying like, don't hold on to regrets of like missed opportunities, because there's so many other opportunities that can come about in maybe slightly different path, but it's still an opportunity. So, the blockages here maybe regret that you've missed something, or that you couldn't figure something out, or like, or maybe even for some of us, like having to compromise something that it's not exactly going to plan, but you're having to compromise, maybe working with a team or something. We can see if that comes up, but maybe having to have somebody else's ideas work with you in order to bring something into fruition. So, it's a matter of just like seeing things clearly and maybe making a compromise, or saying like, no, I don't want to compromise, and kind of finding other solutions to work around that roadblock for some. Excuse me. But, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's like either cutting your losses about an opportunity and maybe brainstorming to create something new, but don't allow that to block you. Find ways to work around that if you can, and not to hold on to these regrets, because I think that could cause, first of all, that can cause energy when you're working with universal consciousness and you're like trying to manifest something. You're putting it out in the ethers, and then you start to have worry and stress and anxiety, and like most of us do when we have something, because we're worried that it will fail, or like we're putting all this money up and it just doesn't work out. It's like there is a lot to fear, but when you do have those things behind your initial energy that is causing it to move forward, it feels like that is being called into the universe along with your wish. So it might not come to plan, it might be delayed, so it might not come at all. So maybe just trying to figure out, if there are some kind of darker, heavier energies behind your initial wishes and dreams and hopes and, all those things, and seeing if you can navigate that to kind of take a new path, or to work around that blockage, that roadblock that you have. So that's what I get from that. And then the 9 of Swords came. They're all swords, by the way. There's 3 cards. I feel like, again, what I'm feeling is that we're worrying about this. This stuff's keeping you up at night. Like, I feel like, sorry, I just always see a fuzz, and I was like, I have to take this. I think that something's holding you back from really bringing things to fruition here, and it's fear, anxiety, stress, worry, nightmares, maybe, like, because there's fear base behind it, and we go to bed like that. So I don't know what's coming up right now is like maybe exercise. I don't know, it's like advice, but like exercising, drinking like chamomile tea or something to kind of calm you before you go to bed. Guided meditations or something like that might help you kind of navigate not worrying and not stay like this energy, exactly what's in the picture. Because it's and maybe there's some earthly lessons that need to be here first before you can navigate past this. Maybe there's something that you're supposed to learn from this mistake or this blockage or something that's holding you back. But maybe looking at that as clear as possible, maybe doing a list of the pros and cons, or like what you need to attain that. Is it attainable? Like that kind of thing. But yeah, I just think, or this is also could be because of isolation too. Some of us have these ideas and then are just kind of pondering, and I feel like if I can't at least start to bring my ideas to fruition, or at least be creative some way of looking up and getting ideas, or like writing things down out of the head, because the swords are all about the mind, right? It's like mental static, I want to say. But I just feel like if I can't at least bring that spark out and write it down or look up research and get inspired by it, like, it doesn't settle, because it's something that is supposed to happen. This idea, this creative spark is supposed to come out. That's why it's coming to you. So maybe finding ways to release that, whether it's, talking to somebody to brainstorm, writing things out, like physically writing them out, looking information up that you like, resources, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I'm seeing from that. And then the 10 of Swords in reverse, but it's in reverse. There's a definitely, I think maybe what I'm getting here is maybe like some people are supposed to have this, like I said, earthly lessons. Maybe there's some healing that needs to be done before things will actually kind of start to happen, because there's something to be learned from this. Maybe because this again is like a lesson learned, like lessons learned here with the 10 in reverse. But there's something kind of holding us back here. And what is it? It's like, maybe you have like, you move a step forward and then you kind of take 2 steps back into old habits and old patterns, or fear that it's like you kind of start something and then you realize like, oh my God, this fear is taking over and I just shouldn't do this. And you start to doubt yourself and the negative chatter starts, and that kind of sets you back and creates delays, really. That's kind of what I see from this. So the blockage is the mind. And how can we get out of the mind and not fear, just taking a leap of faith and going with it? And it's interesting because that's kind of what I'm feeling for the actions needed. So that's the next step, the actions needed. And what we got here is the Knight of Swords, which I like this. I'm using the Light Seers, by the way. I'll link it down below. So every time I see this card, it feels like nothing like the actual, it does when it comes to like being daring about something. So the action needing is to like have some like guts to just go for it. Even if you fear it, just go for it and at least take that leap, because once you do that, you'll realize like, that wasn't that bad. And then like, even if you have a new set of fears, a new set of things, it's like you could still just take that one step leap, and then kind of overcome that fear, believe that you're empowered, and believe, like, even if you fake it till you make it, like, believe that you can do it each step of the way. And it just grows confidence, and it's kind of like a crowding out, in nutrition. I forget what the name of it was. IIN. I'm a health coach, or I went to school for that, kind of intertwine it with what I do. But they do a thing of crowding out. Like, somebody's not going to stop junk food if that's what you eat every day, or even if, let's say, you just eat tons and tons and tons of cheese, but it's not good for you. You notice that you're like getting phlegm, but there's like an addiction or something there. It's like, we're not going to say like, let's cut cheese completely out. You know what I mean? We're going to crowd it out with good things. So the more people eat like healthier foods and still eat the cheese or the junk or whatever your vice is, like, or your habits are, like, still do those things, but crowd it out with good things. Eventually the body's going to want more good things. And that's kind of what I'm sensing here. It's like every step we gain, we create confidence and security and like empowerment, and then the fear kind of goes to the back. And the more we take these leaps of faith and go for it, the fear dissipates. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with this card. He's just like they're just going for it, they're just like, there's action happening, and it's quick. This is the Swords. So this is all mental stuff too. But yeah, it's like this ambition that's happening here. So action needed, just going for it, and just create that spark of ambition and just take a leap. And then we also have, which I love because this is more nurturing and nourishing, and the Queen of Cups. I just feel like this is about using your gut, using your intuition, being more compassionate with yourself and not so harsh, because the mind can, it's not the best neighborhood to be in all the time. And because we have these blockages all in the mind, they're all swords, and all of, the moon in the reverse, which is the only major arcana, by the way, so there's lots of like planning and beginnings here. it's all in the mind. So literally there's all swords and 2 cups in this whole pull. So it's interesting because it is about having more compassion for yourself, really becoming in tune with your feeling and your like how you feel about something, your emotions. Instead of staying in the mind, maybe like try to have an even connection between heart and head. I think that's really important here. Excuse me. I just think that, this is connecting with your higher self and really, what I'm just seeing in the card, like really asking for what you want, and from the heart, from intuition, from the gut, from how you feel emotionally about this, like love, it's like pure love for what you want to do and what you want to manifest. It's coming from a very deep place inside. So being a little bit more compassionate with your ideas, with yourself, with what you want to create and what you want to manifest, maybe being a dreamer a little bit, but writing it down so it's out of the head and you don't stay too much up there. I do believe that things need to be released, but like being a dreamer so that spark comes up. But if you're a dreamer all the time and your head's in the clouds all the time, maybe it's time to pull yourself down. So depending on where you are, just maybe doing a check in that, just to make sure where you are. If you're always in the clouds and dreaming and not really putting things into action, because sometimes it is more fun up there. It's not you don't have to work up there. You're just kind of dreaming of the possibilities. But, it's just see where you're at. Like maybe you need to have those kind of inspirational, I don't know, it's like this innocence that comes with it. It's like childlike kind of feeling that I get from that. And that's funny because that's the advice from Spirit is the Page of Cups. And that is kind of, it's very similar to the way that I'm feeling with the Queen of Cups. Even though she's the queen, I feel like there's this sense of kind of going back to basics with how things make us feel, because sometimes we overanalyze things as adults, and we just take the fun out of it, like the pure joy out of it. So I just feel like she's really connecting, or they're really connecting. She's female here, but really connecting with their inner selves here, and very confident. And I feel like there's a very humbling feeling here too, because it's coming from just pure joy, pure compassion for yourself. There's a softer feeling here instead of being in the head all the time. So I think there's a nice balance, and it's interesting because they're sitting here like this, laying down, and I feel like the Queen is kind of bringing this energy up into the mind. So as you're taking action, you're also taking care of yourself. You're also bringing compassion to the situation. You're kind of, you're being that healer to yourself, evening out the energies. I just feel like that's what I'm getting from that. So, and then advice from Spirit, we have the Five of Cups, the Page of Cups. And I love this card, especially in this deck. I just think it's so cute. But here we are, like the head in the clouds as a dreamer again, and I think that's really good place to be. But again, make sure you're pulling yourself down if you're in the clouds all the time and you're always dreaming. I'm just looking at the card here. Yeah, I just feel like there's this innocence here. I just love this card. I'm going to pull something for this. It's funny, when the last time I saw this, or I had this in a reading online, was I saw When Pigs Fly, and I just love that the pig is flying here. It just reminds me of like, oh yeah, when pigs fly, it's just almost like this disbelief, but you still believe it and you're actually seeing the pig fly. So I don't know if that even makes sense, but what I'm getting, it's like this imagination that we can bring here with the page. And you could just see like all of these things, like all of this energy coming from the heart. This is all heartfelt, this is love for what you're doing for yourself. And this, at the end of the day, this is all about self-love. and connecting with your higher self, because this is stuff about manifesting things that come deep within. And you can only do that if you show compassion to yourself, because if you allow fear and anxiety, which most of us, not all of us, but including myself, fear is a big one. We stand in our own way and we don't allow ourselves to fully blossom, you know? So I think that's really important. So I'm also going to, don't ask me what these are, the worst. Universal Folk Tarot. I love these so much. They are beautiful. Christmas stuff. So I'm going to pull one of these for overall, for advice from Spirit. Possibilities, connect, infinite, soul path. It's exactly what I feel with this. I mean, you could just see that in this card, like something, a card. This is so pretty. This is also a 6. So this is also about communicating what you want to the universe, you know, really connecting to that energy and calling out what you want, what the possibilities are, you know, really connecting. I mean, these are all the keywords on the card. And 6s are all about like being compassionate and having a deep emotion with something. So that's exactly what I see here with the Page of Cups. It's just solidifying what we've said, but this is coming from Spirit, like, this is your soul, whatever this is. And if you strongly believe what this is, can really change you in a way, whether it's just give you a spark of compassion or a spark of creativity or just confidence in general, like go for it. Like there's nothing, I don't know. I just always go back to like, if I can actually have a child out of my body, I could do anything. And I know not everybody has children or can have children, but it's that sense of like, I couldn't believe that I could get to actually go through that, like pain wise. Like I didn't think I was capable. And even going back to school and like starting a business and like doing this YouTube channel, like I had so much fear thinking to be seen and to be disrespect, you know, like for people to like put me down and like what are the comments going to say? And I can't allow that what if fear to really hold me back. Like this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but who cares? Like it's not for everybody. There's a million people out there doing what I'm doing. Like you can watch somebody else that really resonates with you. And that's just how, and it's not being mean. It's just like, go for what you want to do. And even if it's done a million times, it's not your way. It's not done your way. That's what makes it authentic, is you. So I just go for it. And the new moon is a new opportunity to like have that energy kind of push you along, push these ideas along. It's just kind of like a head start of that open energy, allowing your idea to be manifested. So don't allow fear to hold you back. You know, your mind is your worst enemy sometimes. So get out of it, connect with your heart, be this Queen of Cups, really sit into that energy, and just believe that there are possibilities and a way to connect those possibilities to bring them into manifestation. That's all I have. I'm going to give you some self-care cards, as I always do. Hope this resonated. If it did, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate the support. And I hope everyone is safe and healthy and staying strong if you need that. Which I feel like we all do, but one more time. It's for new moon collective. Okay. We have spend time with animals, be out in nature as much as possible, but also respecting your animal and like, you know, I saw something I didn't like the other day of like, and it wasn't even a big deal, but somebody kind of tugged their dog, like they didn't have the patience for it or they were cold. But then I was thinking like, they're having a life experience too, and we have to honor that. So maybe giving some extra love to your pets. I don't know. I just felt that getting the rest that you need. This is also a 7, which is reflection and knowledge and like using your inner wisdom. So maybe putting things to rest that you don't need anymore, putting people to rest that you don't need anymore, getting the rest that you need, resting the mind especially because there's so many swords in here. And we have drink tea, but this is also nourishment, getting some herbs in your body, healthier things from the earth. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed. I will see you for the collective shortly and the full moon and everything else that I'm doing here. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.